it's Heather, and it is August 18th, 2024 at 5:30 in the evening on a Sunday evening. And, I've received this guidance to post. I was a little surprised to hear it. There's nothing I really want to say, but I thought of things that I could talk about and reiterate and I guess repeat. I don't know. So, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about shame. And there are some people, or many, who think that shame is kind of an evolutionary thing, if I'm saying that right, that we no longer need anymore because it doesn't serve a purpose. But back in the day, people needed it to connect with others and kind of stay in a tribe. And, the collection of people made all the people in that collection just a little bit safer. But shame is not the same as guilt, really. Shame is when you kind of worry about what other people think and of what they'll think of what you do and say. You may feel shameful of how you're perceived or how other people will take your actions or behavior. And guilt is just like when you feel bad about something and you have regret or I don't know if I have those definitions correct, but that's how I think of them in my head. And I disagree with the evolutionary thing, phasing out, and how we don't really need guilt. I think we need guilt. I think it does serve a purpose. I think people today can be ousted and ostracized, bullied, kicked out, and it's a feeling that we feel. I don't know, kind of protecting our safety. But they also say that if you want to beat the feeling of shame, that you be transparent. Like, don't hide and don't worry about what everyone's going to say or think. You just get it out there and you talk about it and you work with it. And the more you talk about it and the more you kind of bring the story out, the less shame you can feel. And I've also thought about, like, how much of my private life do I want to talk about? And the answer is, I guess all of it, because, I've come to understand that in the future, my life is going to be very public, and it's going to be available to people to hear and listen about. And for all the years I've lived so far, I've been a very private person, very private. I don't typically open up to people, and if I do, it's very few. And I do have a lot of shame and, of course, guilt. And I've made my mistakes. And I'm going to be public about them. And at first I thought, well, who am I worried about hearing this? And I really don't have anybody in my life, I guess, that I would feel worried about them hearing this. I guess I'm just not there. I've lived my life, and I slightly, like, I care, but I don't care. I care what my kids think, and I care how they feel. I don't want to embarrass them. But unfortunately, I think that the people that we're dealing with have involved a lot of kids and their parents' private lives. And I think they've already been exposed to things that they shouldn't have to be exposed to. And I hate to think that that could be true. I hope it's not. But that's what I've come to understand. And the only way to get through this is I'm going to talk about it all. So, one of the things I'm going to talk about is some things I've done in the past. And I've had relationships, and I think I've mentioned before, it seemed easiest to go for the most unavailable men because I didn't want a commitment. I didn't want to get too close with anyone. I would have rather connected with somebody who had their own lives, so I never had to worry about having a life with them. And so I have had relationships with some married men in the past, not a lot, but here and there. And it's never been personal for me, and it's never been about, like, say, any other woman, or, I mean, if I have a relationship with a guy, it is about him. It is not about his wife. It's just about the fact that he's unavailable except for a relationship, and everything else was just too scary for me to think about. I have had a couple of relationships where like, men weren't married. Those were also few and far between. And I'm talking like I've had a bajillion relationships and I have not. I can count them on my fingers, and they're few and far between. And I really don't have a place to talk about intimacy or sexual intimacy anymore, because it's been so long since I've even dealt with that. I don't even know who I am or what I like in that aspect, I'll tell you the truth. That piece has been kind of sad for me and difficult, but something that I sacrificed because I thought I was with somebody who was amazing in so many other ways, and, well, you can't have it all, or at least that's what I always thought. And I thought that was going to be a sacrifice that I had to make. I'd have rather been with somebody that was compatible in every other way than just, like, sexually compatible, I guess. But I did now and then, with an open relationship, have some relationships. And again, few and far between. But there was one relationship in particular where he was married, and he was very conflicted about cheating. And I don't know if he felt like it was a slight on his wife, or like if I was like had beef with her or didn't like it. And again, it really had nothing to do with her. I wish that I had put more thought into how a wife might feel if her husband cheated. I just didn't. I didn't. And if I could go back, I would change it. But that's what karma's here for. I mean, karma always comes back. So, in hindsight, yes, there's regret, but I did what I did, and it was like, I don't know. I was trying to convince this guy, that this doesn't have to be a choice between a wife and another woman, or his life and something else. It didn't need to be like that. And, I would compliment his wife, and she's so pretty, and oh my gosh. And I said, hey, because I was trying to incorporate her with his thoughts and make it more like it was like intertwined, so he didn't feel like it was cheating so much. And so I said, I will trade you pictures. If I can have pictures of her, I'll give you pictures of me, and it'll be a trade. And I did that so that I oohed and awed over her pictures. And yes, they were pretty, but I am straight. And I know he thought I liked her, and I let him think that, and that was fine. But it was not right of me to influence him in that way or try to make him comfortable. And of course, it was not right of him to share any pictures of somebody else, and it wasn't him. But I carefully guarded those pictures. I never, ever would want anyone to see them. And I did not store them on my computer. They were on a USB drive in a safe in my house. And I probably should have deleted them, but I didn't. I kept them because I liked it. I liked the pictures, and I liked my relationship with him. And I don't know. I just kept them safe. And it wasn't something I would ever want to store on a computer that can be hacked, or, people could potentially find them. And it never, I won't say never, but when I was doing all this, which is just 1000% wrong, I didn't think of the consequences. I didn't think of how she would feel if she ever found out, and I didn't think of how devastating that would be for her. I just didn't think in those terms because I didn't distribute the pictures. I didn't look at them in hate. I didn't hate her. It was nothing about her. It was just trying to make him comfortable. And I don't know. But what I do know is what's done in the dark will come to light. I have learned that. And no matter how much you try to hide something, it's going to be found. And those pictures were taken out of the safe. I didn't have the safe locked for a short period of time. My kids were very little, and they didn't know how to even work a computer, let alone plug in a USB. And there was some other things I had that I would, go back and forth to get out of the safe. And that safe was broken into, and I won't say broken into because I had it open. And I don't know. Maybe Matt took the pictures and distributed them. But her pictures were stolen, I'm quite sure, or they were copied. I still had them. But as soon as I found my things were gone through, I knew that those pictures had been copied. And I deleted what I had and threw everything out. But it was probably too little too late. And I haven't seen or heard about them so far, but I'm sure that will come out in the future. And if it doesn't, just doing the spiritually right thing, I probably will need to contact her and, I don't know, tell her, apologize. I know that day's coming, but I do know that my husband took the pictures that I had taken of me and thought it would be great to distribute them to my two previous bosses, or at least that's what he told me, and I absolutely believed him. I never believed him so much as when he told me that day that he did that. I absolutely believe that's true. He later denied it, but I know that he was telling the truth. And it was ugly behavior. And I think that he's having a relationship with somebody, but this woman does have it out for me. And there is a man that I previously dated who also has it out for me. And again, it's Ben and Amy. Those are who I suspect. And I think they've contacted people from my job and redistributed those pictures. I'm quite sure they sold those pictures to my boss, Casey. Again, time will tell if I'm right. Because initially I was like, gosh, what if he sold it to Jamie? Jamie is head of IT over there. But no, ultimately, Casey is in the habit of stealing company property and reselling it. And he doesn't want any attention drawn to that. And when I reported it, he doesn't want anyone to look at me and think that I may have a valid point. So all he's done for quite a while is anything he can to destroy me. He's bullied me. If he's gotten a hold of these pictures, I'm quite sure they've been distributed around my job. I'm quite sure that he's told some lies. And if they're not lies, then they're a stretch of the truth. There will be something that's kind of true that will help his side of the story be validated, but then he'll blow up the details or he'll leave out details. Just anything to make me look bad and to take the spotlight off of him and what he's doing. So he's got to make a real show, and I think he's doing that. And he's doing a great job. He is doing everything he can to get me fired. And I do know that sometime in the future, I get fired, but it's going to be a blessing in disguise, one. And two, I don't believe it's going to be by him. It's going to be after he's long gone. But there's other things that are covered up that come to my attention. And that whole business of bullying somebody and trying to discredit them will continue on. And it will result in my job loss. That's what I see so far. Casey and Maurice, these two, I just feel they're in cahoots stealing company property. And neither of them have spoken to me very much, but especially Maurice. And I think he's just upset that he got caught. But nothing's been proven yet. And I made this allegation like a year and a half, 2 years ago. But, for people, if they weren't guilty of that, they would probably think that that allegation was like a little bit nutty. And that the person who made that allegation might be a little bit off. I could see them thinking that, but just kind of letting it go. If they were guilty, as I suspect and know they are, they would never let it go, and they're always going to take it to heart, and they're always going to have a problem, and it put enough of a spotlight on them and just people watching things and the inventory and whatnot that they always will have to be careful. And for all the times that I'm around, they're always going to have to watch their back in case I happen to notice something else. And so it would just be better for them if I was no longer at that job. Anyhow, yeah, I guess I just predict that these two are circulating anything they could get in their hands, which would include the pictures, and anything else they can do to kind of tear my reputation down and hopefully embarrass me or make me want to leave, or to bully me, or to discredit me, or all of the above. I know they'll take what they can get from that. But I have been prepared with this information for a while. I know that it's going to happen. And when I see them at work, they kind of have this look on their face, like it's very smug. They want to win at all cost. They don't care what they do to people. They do not care if they bring me down. And it's just incredible. I am so amazed at how ugly people are willing to get for not very great reasons. I'm thinking of the movie Braveheart, where I don't remember it. It was so long ago, but the guy goes out and avenges some people who destroyed his life and the people he loves. And that was his whole purpose in his life, is to avenge that. And I think that's what that movie was. I'm going to laugh if it wasn't. But I can think of reasons, is what I'm trying to say, that you would want to avenge somebody. If they hurt or killed somebody you love, you might want to avenge them. Something big, something huge like that. These guys, they're just willing to save their hide. I mean, they don't care what they do or say. They don't care about the lives that they impact. But I'm not going to worry about them. I've been guided to not react at all to this. I'm not going to seek revenge. I'm not going to go after anyone. I'm not even going to talk about it because really, this isn't anyone's business. And the way that I should be explaining myself, no matter how much I may want to, it's just nothing I would talk about with people at work. So, I can see this happening, but my guidance is to do nothing and let it be in God's hands, and He will take care of it. And there's going to be karma for anyone who's involved in this. And it was just interesting, like, I haven't spoken with Maurice in a few years. Ever since he found out I reported this to HR, oh, he was mad. And all of a sudden, last Friday, 2 days ago, he reached out and asked me some question that he could have asked anyone. And that's when I knew, like, okay, we're getting closer. Like, there's some kind of guilt, or he's wanting to there's some reason he's reaching out to me now that wasn't there before. And I was like, okay, we're coming into a change here. And that's why I suspect that I have been guided to post this. And I will. And we'll see if it comes true. We'll see if I'm right. That's exactly what I think has been happening. Okay, it's starting to rain here. Have a good night.